Okay, number 1, we're going to plug in this whole thing into the x in the f equation, the f because of this f right here. So we have -5 right here times x, but instead of x I'm going to put -5 plus 2x plus 4. So see, I have the whole equation, -5x, and I put in parentheses, plus 4. So we're going to distribute 25 minus 10x plus 4. 25 plus 4 is 29 minus 10x. Number 2, we're going to put this whole thing into the x in the g equation. Now there's two x's, so we put them in for both. So we have x plus 5 squared plus 2 times x plus 5 plus 1. So this first part here, remember, you have to be careful, multiply out 2 of them. I'm going to go ahead and distribute 2x plus 10 plus 1. So this, when you multiply this all out, you get x squared plus 10x plus 25 plus 2x plus 11. Combine like terms, x squared plus 12x plus 36. Number 3, we're going to plug x minus 8 into the x in the f equation. So -5 times x minus 8 plus 4. -5x plus 40 plus 4. So -5x plus 44. Okay, I worked out number 4, and I worked out number 6. Now number 5, I want to make sure again with that squared, make sure that you do this correctly. So we're squaring the 5 and the x. So this is going to become 25x squared plus 10x plus 1, and then you can't combine anything else, so we just leave it like that. Okay, use the graph to determine the values. So on here, remember, you're given an x value. So like on number 7, they give me f of 4. That means 4 is an x value. So I'm looking for the y value in that coordinate point. So I'm going to go to 4 on the x axis, and I see that coordinate point. The y value is 0. So I just say equals 0. So here, the x value is 0. I'm looking for the y value. So 0, and I go up to the graph, I get positive 1. And number 9, I'm looking for the x value -3, so I go over to -3 and I go up. The y value is positive 3. Use the tables to find the values. So number 10, so we start with the 5 and we put it into g. So 5 into g, I get 6, so out comes 6. And then I take 6 and I'm going to put it into f. So I take 6, I put it into f, and I get 7. Okay, number 11. Take 5 and put it into f. So when I put 5 into f, I get 5. Then I'm going to take 5 and put it into g. When I put 5 into g, I get 6. Number 12. Put 6 into g, we get 3. Put 3 into f, we get 2. Number 13, put 4 into f, we get 6. Put 6 back into f, we get 7. Number 14, put 7 into f. Now there's no 7 on here for x, so we just say not defined in table. Number 15, put 5 into g, we get 6. Put 6 into g, and we get 3. Number 16. Okay, so we're going to take 4 and put it into f. So when I put 4 into f, I get 2. 12 minus 10 is 2. So then I'm going to take 2 and put that into the g equation. So 5 times 2 squared minus 3 is 17. Okay, so I just get that one answer. I don't get 2 answers, this is my final answer. Number 17, take -5 and put it into g. So 5 times -5 squared minus 3 is 122. So then I take 122 and I put that into the f equation. Plug that into my calculator, and I got 356. Number 18, take 9 and put it into f. So 3 times 9 minus 10 is 17. Then I'm going to take 17 and put it into G. So 5 times 17 squared minus 3. 1432. Okay, number 19. So now there's no number here, so we're going to take the entire G equation, put it into H. So the G equation is 2x plus 6. I'm going to put it into the x in the H equation. So I put 2x plus 6 into the x. So let's distribute. 6x plus 18 minus 2 becomes 6x plus 16. Okay, number 20. Take the entire G equation, put it into F. So I have 2 times 2x plus 6 squared minus 4 times 2x plus 6 plus 3. Now again, be careful here. You have to write that out twice. 2x plus 6 times 2x plus 6 minus 8x minus 24 plus 3. So if we multiply all of that out, we get 4x squared plus, I'd get a 12x plus 12x, so 24x plus 36 minus 8x minus 21. Now I can distribute that to 8x squared plus 48x plus 72 minus 8x minus 21. And my final answer, 8x squared plus 40x minus 51. So you have to be extra careful on these ones with the squared. Make sure you multiply out everything correctly. Number 21, we're going to take the F equation and put it into the G equation. So we have 2 times, and I'm going to put the whole F equation, 2x squared minus 4x plus 3 plus 6. So distribute 4x squared minus 8x plus 6 plus 6. And our final answer, 4x squared minus 8x plus 12. Number 22, if f of negative 5 equals 2, then what is f inverse of 2? Okay, so we talked about this is an x value, which then we said that this is a y value. So my coordinate point, negative 5, 2. Now if I'm finding the inverse of that, remember now this is our x value in our inverse, and in an inverse the x and the y switch. So this just equals negative 5. Remember, they just switch places, not signs, just places. 23, if f of 10 equals negative 3, so here's our x value, here's our y value. If I wrote it as a coordinate point, it would look like this. Then f inverse of negative 3, so that's now our x value. What is our y value? Well, it would just be 10. Find the inverse equation. Okay, so finding the inverse equation, two things. You're going to switch x and y, so this becomes x equals 4y, and then we're going to solve for y. So divide by 4, so y equals x over 4, but then we use our inverse notation, f inverse of x equals x over 4. So there's our inverse equation. 25, switch x and y, solve for y. So I'm going to subtract 1 and divide by negative 4. So f inverse of x equals, now remember, you can leave it like this. The other thing you can do is split it up. In this case, I'll just leave it like that. Most of you do that, and that's fine. It's not a big deal. 26, switch x and y, so x equals y over 6. Solve for y. So multiply both sides by 6. So f inverse of x equals 6x. Remember, you're doing inverse, so it should always be opposite. This was being multiplied, sorry, this one, 4 times y, so then I should be doing division. Over here, the negative 4 is being multiplied, so in the end it's being divided. This is being added, this is being subtracted. So it's always the opposite because you're doing the inverse. Switch x and y, solve for y. So x minus 2 equals 3y, divide by 3. So f inverse of x, now I'm going to split this one up so we just see what it looks like. So we do x over 3 minus 2 over 3. Remember, the denominator goes under each piece. Okay, 28, switch x and y. negative 1/3 y minus 5/3 and solve for y. So first thing, this I want to move over. It's being subtracted, so I'm going to add it over. So x plus 5/3 equals negative 1/3 y. Now be careful here because this is where some of you get confused. I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal here. Okay, if you divide it, it's okay, but you can't leave it like that. So instead, multiply by the reciprocal. So that means I multiply this whole thing by negative 3 over 1. So then we get f inverse of x. Remember, this is just a negative 3. So you can distribute it or you can leave it. If you leave it, it looks like this. If you were to distribute it, you would get negative 3x minus 15 because the 3, oh, not 15, minus 5 because those 3's cancel. Okay, 29, switch x and y, solve for y. So add 5, and again, multiply by the reciprocal. So I'm going to multiply by 3 over 2. So we get f inverse of x equals, and I'm going to just leave this one like that, 3 over 2 times x plus 5. Number 30. So this one's a three-step process, or three-step problem. We're going to graph the original function right here. So I'm going to graph it by hand. Remember, if you can't graph it by hand, you can graph it in your calculator. So start at positive 2. And my slope is 1 over 3, so up 1 over 1, 2, 3. Down 1, left 1, 2, 3. So it looks like that. Okay, so there's graphing the original. Let's find the inverse. So switch x and y. Solve for y. So subtract and multiply by the reciprocal, so 3 over 1 or just 3. So f inverse of x equals 3 times x minus 2. Okay, so there's your inverse function. Now again, if you cannot graph that, plug it in your calculator and graph it. If you need help doing that, come and see me. I'm going to distribute this. It would be 3x minus 6, so now I can graph that. So starting at negative 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And my slope is 3 over 1, so up 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, whoops. 1, 2, 3, there we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, remember, when you graph these, it should look as though they're flipping over across that line, y equals x. So if I draw this blue line in here, every single point should be a mirror image across. Then you know that you graphed them correctly. Okay, number 31, graph 2x minus 3. So again, starting at negative 3, 2, 3. My slope is 2 over 1, so up 2 over 1. So there's my original. Okay, and then let's find the inverse. So switch x and y and solve for y. So add 3, divide by 2. So f inverse equals x plus 3 over 2. Now again, some of you don't know how to graph this, so you can split up that denominator so it becomes x over 2 plus 3 over 2. So that means I start at 3 halves, or 1.5, and I go up 1 over 2 from my slope. Again, or you can graph it in your calculator. So start at 1.5, I'm going to go up 1, right 2. And again, if I was to draw that line, y equals x, everything is a mirror image over that line. Okay, and the last one, I'm going to graph this first. So this is a plus 0. So I'm going to start right at 0, 0. My slope is 1 over 3. So up 1 over 3. Oops. If I can count. Up 1, 1, 2, 3. And then let's find the inverse. So switch x and y, solve for y by multiplying by 3. So f inverse of x equals 3x. Again, there's a plus 0 there, so I'm going to start at 0, 0, but I'm going to go up 3 over 1. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and down 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and if I draw that same line here, I see that it's a mirror image of each other.